Just made a video the other day talking about waterways after heavy rains, and specifically focused on this one and how it overflowed, and there's some work to be done. Lo and behold, way more rain came. Another inch and a half in short order. Luckily I spent the time and renovated this, following some suggestions that folks offered and some ideas of my own, and so I thought I would add yet another layer of how this is working out. Let's take a look. This was filled, nearly filled, and in the last video I talked about how it overflowed and it blew out some wood chips. Well, I've since gone through, first of all I renovated the walkway, got the weeds out, made it a little bit simpler and easier to walk, and made a berm to protect and focus water. The low end here, I made an intentional raising of the overall water level, knowing that this pond leaks a little, means that when water comes really rushing in, there's slightly emptier than full pond. It can take that pulse first and absorb it into all of this really rich organic matter to take on that excess water first. Now, when it needs to overflow, it overflows over this gentle little space that helps keep the duckweed in. And I took this walkway. Now, I don't expect this walkway to always be wet like this. This is just a particularly wet moment. But this can fill with water, drop out some silt, and you can see it's a little mucky in there. So it absorbed some of the water or some of the soil that was moving along. The bonus is our little friends here don't mind yet even more pleasant context for them to enjoy. And you can see some of the duckweed from the pond was lifted and drifted down to here, but it hit its first berm impediment, and so that will just be absorbed into the soil as nutrient, or maybe the frogs will come and eat it. Somebody might enjoy it. And then the second space I dug out deeper, I made a little wider, and made a more intentional, taller and thicker berm just down watershed of it. And even with all this water running through, the pond overflowing and flowing through it, these being filled and then descending, I'm not seeing any more wood chips or soil moving down slope. Now, I didn't go through and clean up these wood chips, that's fine, but I remember how they looked. They look the same as they did the other day. What's really nice here now is get some vernal pool, or ephemeral pools, I guess not vernal, but after really heavy rain, now there's two more spaces that can fill with water. They can completely fill. As they fill, there's more and more wicking desire into these really deep beds of wood chips on one side, production cutting beds on the other. There's a lot of incentive for the water to laterally enter the landscape before it goes over this last berm and leaves. So pretty simple adjustment. Maybe it was an hour or two of work to go through and clean them up and make a couple of speed bumps, basically, for that overflow. And it's still very actively overflowing. Water's coming into it from the garden above. The whole garden is slowly releasing its excess water down through this. But the frogs are loving it. The fish I put in there are having a great time. And yesterday, this is going to sound crazy, but yesterday I harvested a half of a 5-gallon bucket completely of duckweed, fed it to the chickens, and already it's nearly covered again. So tons of protein and water filtering happening from that. I'd like to get some watercress on the edges. I might work on that today. But kind of sweet to see, within a day or two of this renovation, a frog in this one, and pretty sure I saw, oh yeah, another little frog in this one. So you dig a pond, it's like frogs fall out of the sky and land right into them somehow. Anyway, minor renovations, minor adjustments. Always excited to get more feedback from folks, so let me know what you think could be better about this, and we'll just keep documenting the evolution of these systems. The water trickling in, it's actually coming from underground, so it's getting a little bit filtered. It's coming in clear. Love to see water flowing clear.